Hey everyone, DB Cooper coming at you here from my really hot kitchen. It's been a while since I put out a video. I really just haven't had the chance. Come usually around February, March, I'm busy with baseball and the kids and everything. So anyways, I wanted to show you my cook kit here and what I believe is, as far as I'm concerned, it's like the greatest thing in the world as far as making coffee and having fresh coffee. I haven't found an instant coffee that I like yet. So without further ado, the cup itself, the base, 550 milliliter Tokes titanium. And the top you'll see sticking out here. I'm going to get into that a little more. So as you pull it apart, inside of here I have my coffee. Usually there's more in here, but for the sake of this video there's only a little bit. Next up, strainer, part one of the strainer. I'll show you that in a second. Now when I pull the cup out, in the bottom, well, you can see that in the bottom I keep the lid. That way everything is there. So right there I have my fuel canister. I use the small canisters. For as many as I go through, I just prefer these. It just kind of everything sits together, as you can see. In there I've got my good old trusty BRS titanium stove. You have seen this before. I've had this thing probably about 3 years and I've only actually had one issue with it, and I will elaborate on that in a second because that's a brand new issue. Also, I've got these little gadgets here. I like to call them canister feet. I'm also going to throw a little shameless plug in and say that I do 3D print these. I sell them. They're not much. It just kind of, I don't know, supports my 3D printing habit, I guess you could say. But what they do is they clip onto the bottom of the fuel canister. Obviously, I do not need them now because I am in my kitchen. They just clip on. They sit on there. They weigh, 2.6 grams, so they really don't weigh anything. And it just helps with stability. Now, here is my issue. And I don't know if it's the stove or if it's the fuel canister. Let me shut that, make sure. So you're gonna hear a whoosh when it kind of seats in there. There, right there. Now, I don't know if the O-ring inside the stove is starting to go bad or if it's the actual fuel canister itself. And I say that because I've never used the actual Jetboil fuel canisters. This is the first time I've used them, and this issue that I had, that issue there, it literally just started probably, last week actually. Adam and I went up to the Catskills. So let me set that there. Now I'll say part two. This kind of fits in here snug. And what this is the top portion of the strainer, cup, whatever you want to call it. And I'll get into that in a second. I do want to get the water going here. I'm going to show you how I do this. For the sake of not heating my kitchen up anymore, because I don't know if you could hear it in the background, I'm making some beef jerky and I have the dehydrator going. So not only is it 90 degrees outside, and if you know me, you know I hate the summer and I love the winter. And if you don't know me, well, that's a fact. I absolutely hate the summer, love the winter, love the cold weather. So while that's going, I'm just gonna push that off to the side. And usually I have, what's missing is my titanium spoon, long handle titanium spoon. I usually put 2 of those in there, and for the sake of this, I'm just using some cheap Maxwell House coffee here. And I don't know, we'll say maybe, what's that, 2 tablespoons, I guess you call it, kind of to your liking. And these two, they just sit together. Now, what I did was this silicone band here is, that's 2 reasons. One, when it's nested down into the mug, it keeps it from rattling around, kind of keeps it a little quiet. And then 2, when you pour the water in here, it does get warm, so this is kind of a little bit of an insulator. Now, where this thing originates from is this guy right here. The common name for these is a Lindsey Perk O Later. They were made probably 40s, 50s, 60s, maybe even earlier. I've actually been using these for I don't know, 5-6 years, if not longer. And it just, within the last 2 weeks, kind of dawned on me to try this. So that's normally what they look like, and I could show you another one here. This is just a different style. This is a little bigger. This one I think is a 4 or 6 cup, and this one I think is a 3 cup. But you could find them flea markets, yard sales, usually $3-4 a piece. They're made out of aluminum. With that said, I really have no clue what this kit weighs. I don't care. It brews good coffee. And that's all I really care about. So we're gonna take that. I'm sure that water's plenty warm enough right now. So, boom. And the only thing I might change, and it's really just a preference, is the Tokes cup. I would like to get one with the long handle, only because these handles have a tendency to get warm. But for the meantime, I just use the pouch that it comes in, and it's really just as simple as pouring it in, don't burn yourself, and then quick drop it on top. Now, I don't know about you, but I hate instant coffee. I've tried, I would say probably 85% of the brands out there. The best one I found was maybe Starbucks French Roast, which is all right. I've tried this one, which everybody raves about, and I just think it's terrible. I don't like it. I need like half the jar to make it strong enough. And now my wife uses it whenever she makes granola or something like that. She just throws it in there. So with that said, the first time I used this system was actually about a week and a half ago. Adam and I went up to the Catskills, and I took this with me. And generally, I don't do any cooking when I go backpacking. I just do dehydrated meals or freeze-dried meals. And so the cup just works perfectly fine. Most of the meals are 2 cups or a cup and a half cup, whatever it is. So that works out really well. Then I don't want to be bothered doing dishes. So anyways, this worked out really well in the Catskills last weekend. We did roughly maybe 15 miles. We got up there late Friday night, did about an hour and a half of night hiking. We started at the Denning trailhead and then hiked into the Table Mountain shelter. We stayed at the shelter, did, I don't know if I mentioned it, maybe about an hour and a half worth of night hiking, which was really nice. And then Saturday we woke up, I'm just waiting for this coffee to brew. Saturday we woke up, just kind of took our time. We ended up going to the top of Table Mountain and then on to Peakamoose Mountain. I don't know how familiar you are with the Catskills, but there's 2 things in common that I've learned. Is that they don't believe in switchbacks. Everything's pretty much straight up. And the views from the actual top are absolutely terrible. Slide Mountain has no view from the top. There's a couple vistas on the way up. The Table Mountain's the same way. Top of Peakamoose is a big rock. On the way up there, like I said, there's a couple really nice, vistas and stuff like that. But anyways, this is done brewing. So, it only takes a couple minutes. Like I said, I don't know what this weighs. I can't imagine the whole thing weighs really much. I mean, I think the Tokes cup is 4 or 5 ounces. The stove is less than an ounce. These aluminum pieces, maybe 2 or 3 ounces for the pair of them. It really doesn't weigh much. But anyways, I am going to actually enjoy this cup of coffee about 20 minutes before I go to bed. 4 a.m. comes early. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. And I do want to say that the only difference that you don't see here is that in the winter time or when it's colder out, I have my 2-piece pot koozie, which again, everything just sits down into the bag anyways. So that's really the only difference. I don't take that with me in the summertime. So again, yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know, or suggestions, or if I could help you in any way. And so otherwise, I'll catch you on the next video. I'm going to be doing a couple trips here coming up with the Scouts, and then I'm doing another trip up to Massachusetts camping for the weekend. So hopefully maybe we'll see you out there. If not, I don't know. Peace, take care, happy hanging, happy hiking, and get away from the instant coffee. It's terrible. Do yourself a favor. Bye.